In today's episode of the DNVR Broncos Podcast, we are going to be talking about the offseason. Also, we have Dre here, which isn't going to be a surprise because you can see him right now. Should be fun. We're talking salary cap, Broncos free agents, other free agents the Broncos could sign. Dre's going to pitch us on some draft prospects at the end of the show. Should be a fun one, and we're going to start here in a couple seconds. Welcome into the DNVR Broncos Podcast, live from the Toyota Lounge.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it.
Presented by Bet365. No, that was a great one. Wow, Dre just told the craziest story.
Yeah,
not something good for on air, though, which is sad.
No.
We've got a bunch of stuff that is good for on air, though, and that's going to be the next out. Yeah, no, this is... Now you can find Dre just about everywhere. He's doing TDSP, doing the Rocky show, doing the Ram show.
Incredible.
Doing all the other stuff. Doing Broncos.
That's right.
Yeah.
Look at us.
Maybe stealing Zach's job?
I would never. I wouldn't dare.
Okay, good.
I wouldn't dare.
Like I said in the cold open, though, this is going to be a fun one. We're digging deep into this offseason because the Broncos don't play this week. So there's no game to preview, so we might as well look ahead and see what's on the way. How are you guys doing today?
Amazing. How are
I'm
you
feeling
talking?
good.
Yeah?
Feeling good. So we're looking like way ahead.
Way ahead. About 4
yeah.
months ahead.
Couple months.
Yeah.
Half a year.
It's all about perspective.
Yeah,
Grand scheme
you
of
know.
things, not that far.
Most exciting.
When you're about to make a run to the playoffs.
If you fail to
always the way.
prepare,
right.
you're prepared to fail. So we're just preparing.
Wow.
Damn
there we go.
straight.
That's so true.
Most exciting Broncos offseason since
Russell Wilson?
2015? Yeah, I guess Russell Wilson.
That was a pretty exciting one.
That is an exciting one.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I guess we might as well just jump right in.
Why not?
There's no reason not to. So the big news yesterday was that Josh Reynolds is no longer a Bronco. Actually, that was news the day before. He winds up going to the Jags, though, which means that the Jags pay the rest of his salary, saves the Broncos about $600,000, saves him another $5 million next year because he won't be on the team. And now the Broncos are going into the offseason with about $69 million in cap space, which is a big number. And I did some rough math this morning, just went through the whole list of Broncos free agents, and if you give everybody about what they're making right now, there's a bunch of like the restricted free agent type guys who are making like $800,000, call it $1 million. You wind up saying that you could bring back every single one of the Broncos free agents, basically run it back for about $53 million, which leaves you about $16 million left over. Maybe 5 or 6 of that goes to the draft class. Usually take another $12 million or so into the season just so you have flexibility. And so basically what it comes down to is if you look at this really, really, really conservatively, the Broncos could totally run it back and call that kind of an offseason. Run it back with a new draft class. What do you think of that?
And running it back means everybody's on their same deals. Nobody's getting upgrades. Nobody's getting less money. It's just
It's
the
the exact
status
same
quo.
across the board. Oh, the only catch was you pick one of the two quarterbacks. It's either Zach Wilson or Jarrett Stidham.
That's easy.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the one where I was like, save the $5 million
just flip
there.
a coin.
Yeah. And all that, I mean, the other piece of that, though, is that's considering Garett Bolles at $17 million.
And he's playing
really well.
like his best football. It's something about contract years with GB.
I know.
Like,
I know.
He just
I know.
finds a way to play really good. And maybe he just needs like 1 year deals. the
Yeah,
rest of his
that's
career.
right.
Yeah. Because the thing is, I wonder what that... He's always so emotional. Especially this year, though, where you talk to him, he's like, yeah, I just really want to be here. Like, I just want to be a Bronco forever. The ball's in their court. Like, I've done all I can. I wonder if there is actually something to that, where he's just constantly thinking about wanting to be here.
I think they could have signed him for 17 a year
I do, too.
at the start of the year.
I do, too.
Now, not so much. I mean, he's like, he wants to be a Bronco, but he also understands like the market and understands how he's playing. And of course, his agent definitely knows what's going on.
Yeah.
So I love it here, but at the same time, like, has to make sense. And I think he would take less money to be here, but I think he would still need more money than 17.
I think so, too. But the good news is, so I called it $17 million in there. If you give him, say, 3 years at $20 million a year, the first year of that contract is probably only going to cost you about $10 million.
Yeah.
Because that's how those contracts work. Just for example, you look at how the Broncos built a couple of them recently. Ben Powers, 3 years, $30 million. It was $4 million year one in terms of cap hit. The money is very different. $4 million year one, then $13 million, then $13 million. You look at Mike McGlinchey, 5-year deal, and it's $6 million cap hit, 7.4, 23.75, 23. And so just because the signing bonus is such a big chunk of the year one money, and that's spread out across the entire contract, if you say you're giving 3 years and $17 million to Garett Bolles, that's probably only $7 million, maybe $10 million. And so there's another $10 million, $7 million, whatever it might be, that you can spend in free agency. So that's why I could call it a really conservative look. If you say we can run it back, we can add a draft class and have plenty of space.
Yeah, and it's tricky with a rookie quarterback who'll be a second-year guy taking away his left tackle that he's. I mean, I think that's the other part of this is Bolles has really played well in part because his quarterback is, it's been rough sledding for a while with some of the guys Bolles and other guys on the Broncos O-line have had to pass protect for, especially. Yeah. And Bo's been pretty efficient in avoiding sacks, avoiding pressures, and I think that helps as well.
I think so too. But I think GB has leverage because of that.
Oh, 100%.
Same thing with Cortland. I think going into, they didn't want to give him a little bit of adjustment, but they gave it to him because young quarterback, we need you to be, his number one target. He needs to be successful. Nobody wants a new left tackle, even if we go draft a rookie
Right. You don't want to go through that.
Yeah. No, you don't want to go through the struggles of having a young tackle that has to protect your quarterback's blind side. So he has a lot of leverage, man. I would go, give me $30 million. Who's the highest paid right now?
That'd be Trent Williams, right? Who is more than 30, I think. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. I do think
him and Court, which is interesting you brought up Sutton, are the two guys who could need an adjustment.
Yeah. I mean, going to Court, he's due $15.5 million this year. I would imagine instead of just giving him a raise, they negotiate an extension. And so if you make that extension, it's kind of that same thing with Garett Bolles, where I wouldn't be surprised if instead of the cap hit being whatever, $15 million you got to add next year, it goes down to $7 million, and that money gets spread out because you give him the signing bonus. So. And
next year's the last year that you have to deal with the Russell Wilson fiasco, right?
So
if you can just get through next year, then your whole salary cap is open to you again.
And I think that's why this year could be a big year in free agency because you paid the $50 million dead cap hit last year. It's like 33 next year, but then everything opens up. And so some people look at pushing some of the money to the future as being irresponsible because then you have to deal with the $20 million you got to pay Court in a couple of years. But when that salary cap space is opening up, it means that this year everything kind of fits together to have another big free agency year like they did a couple of years ago with Zach Allen and Ben Powers and Mike McGlinchey. It's interesting. And the last thought on Garett Bolles, to me, it's either you bring back Garett Bolles or you get worse at left tackle. I don't really think there's a way around it.
Yep.
I think you look at Cam Robinson's out there. Tyron Smith is out there.
Right, and he's having
Ronnie Stanley's out there.
Old heads.
Good, but always hurt. I mean, it's
yeah.
I think that if you don't bring back Garett Bolles, you're getting worse. And big picture with this team, I would say, given maybe they have more talent than we gave them credit for at the beginning of the season, but I still think they're in a spot where you don't let talent walk out the door. I think that you still kind of hold on to what you've got and not just let Garett Bolles go and get worse at that position so that you can try to patch a hole somewhere else. I think that you just need to kind of keep, for the most part, building organically, run it back or get as close to it as you can and just keep putting draft classes in.
Well, and your free agent dollars are spent a little more wisely when you're just renewing guys you've already seen perform in your system on your team.
Yep.
As much as we talk about the draft's a crapshoot, so is free agency, man.
Yep. Totally.
Half those guys who get big money deals when they hit free agency are getting cut after a season or two.
And that's the tough balance that you have to make, whether you want to build through the draft or build through free agency, because it's easy to look at these Broncos and say they're really exciting. They're like the Texans last year where they went and got Danielle Hunter, who's been awesome for them. Stephon Diggs, who hasn't worked out. Danielle, your guy.
Yeah, he's a ball. I mean, when I got there, he was injured, but
okay.
I mean, he was balling before I got there, and then what he's doing this year with some of the moves he's putting together,
Yeah.
That pass rush is crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And so you see how you could just add a guy like that. It would change where the Broncos are as a team, you know? Like that's huge. But at the same time, you look at a team like the Lions, they have that draft class with Jahmyr Gibbs and Laporta and Jack Campbell. And all of a sudden, that's kind of what elevated them. And they did it in a pretty sustainable way. One more big free agent. Can you pull that up you here? Just like the big overview of where the Broncos are. I know it's a spreadsheet. Running through it real quick though, your 2 backup quarterbacks are gone. You're gonna have to make a decision. Receivers all back. Running back Javonte's gone. Tackle Garett Bolles, obviously, but then you also have Matt Parrott, who was on a 1-year deal. Quinn Bailey's going to be gone.
Yep.
Who was hurt, but he was an important piece last year for a backup lineman. Defensive line, DJ Jones is gone. We're going to come back to him in a second. And then linebackers, Cody Barton's gone, Justin Sternad's gone, Zach Cunningham's gone, which leaves you with only Alex Singleton and Lavelle Bailey. Singleton making $6 million next year, not guaranteed, coming off an ACL. So there might be an adjustment there. There might
You don't adjust him. You bring him back for every day. I mean, you already had him at a discount.
Yeah, he's dope.
And I think him coming back for injury, I don't see he's not the kind of person that feels like his game would just fall off a cliff. And for $6 million a year, and he's always top 5 in tackles. He's very underpaid.
Yep.
So
I like it.
Bring him back.
I like it. Cornerback, Levi Wallace gone, Tremon Smith gone, and then your punter's gone, Riley Dixon. So it isn't a bunch of big names. Jumping back, though, to DJ Jones, that's kind of the last big discussion. He's on, like I said, 3-year, $10 million per year contract.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's about what he's going to be worth going forward?
Is he 30 already?
I believe he's 28.
30?
I think he's a little bit less because what's Zach Allen getting paid?
16, maybe just under 16, right about 16.
Yeah, I think he's having a good year, but I don't think he's not outplaying Zach. I think JFM is right on pace to have a similar season.
And he's
with
at
him.
like $7.5 million.
Yeah, same thing with Roach. I feel like when Roach is in the game, very similar to what DJ Jones does. I think $10 million a year is a little bit high. I think for the way that this team is structured.
Yep, I agree. He's going to be 30 in January. We
always bring up 30, but it's not like once you turn 30, your body just crumbles.
Unless you're running back.
Correct.
Huh?
Unless you're running back.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it coming.
Right?
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I'm scared to turn 30. I think
you got to age like Todd, not like me. You know, it's all about what you do.
Yes.
It's up to you, Henry. Yeah, it's less of an age thing. Yeah.
I don't know. You're doing well.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate
think
it.
DJ Jones, though, the strength of your team is the pass rush. Like, you've got 5 more sacks than any other team in the NFL.
Yeah.
DJ Jones isn't going to break the bank. And this is maybe him and Garett are the 2 spots where I say, if it's not broken, don't try to fix it. Just run it back with these guys because things are going so well. And again, like, he's not playing like the high value defensive line stuff. Like he's kind of a nose tackle, defensive tackle. He's more of a run stuffer. He's not like your 3 technique who's going and getting sacks. And because of that, he shouldn't be any more than $10 million for sure.
But I think that's why they paid him $10 million a year, is because he was like on the cusp of being that guy. And then you talk about our pass rush, like, I think he's a great player, but it's not necessarily coming from DJ Jones.
True.
It really is.
Other interior players are actually having better seasons rushing the passer than him.
What you're kind of describing is a scenario where maybe you can get DJ and GB at 27 combined, but it's less of 10 and 17.
Yeah.
It's more of a 20 and 7.
Yeah.
You know,
which I would love.
Yeah,
that would be an ideal, or just being around that number. If 27 becomes 30, whatever, you can stomach that. Especially if GB is the one who's getting the raise and has more of a long-term renewal.
Yep. Last question with the free agents. Do you have a preference between Jarrett Stidham and Zach Wilson?
I really don't.
Me either, man.
Yeah, I'm struggling too. I don't have one either.
Especially if the money was the same.
Exactly. I'm just assuming. Like, Stidham's getting $5 million a year. I'd imagine, if anything, that probably goes down. Zach Wilson probably about that same boat.
Yeah, because I think my hope for both of them is that they don't play. Not that they can't play.
Absolutely.
It's just that
Exactly.
Bo continues to be healthy and play. So I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Next, we're getting into free agency, which should be fun. We put together a bunch of different scenarios, it's kind of a would you rather game among all of the free agents, mostly at positions the Broncos could be interested in. First, though, got to give a shout out to our friends over at Bird Call.
Yes.
If you're on the hunt for the best fried chicken sandwiches, tenders, and salads in Denver, you can look no further than Bird Call. Bird Call is all about all natural chicken goodness with a fully customizable menu. That means that they're crafted salads, award-winning tenders, nuggets, tots, fries, creamy milkshakes, if you're into that. You name it, they've got it. And check this out. They were also voted Denver's best chicken sandwich in the Westward's Reader's Choice Awards. Locals love them, and for good reason. Bird Call is more than just a meal. It's an experience with high-quality ingredients and awesome service. Now they have the Bird in the Box. Bird in a box, not the box, because otherwise everybody would be sharing the same box. Now people are going crazy over it. Here's how it works. For just $9.95, you can build your own Bird in the Box with your choice of 2 crispy sliders or 1 slider and 2 tenders. Plus you get tots or fries, pickles, one of their signature sauces. Or if you like it spicy, you can upgrade to the Nashville Hot Tenders. Bird Call's awesome. It was hatched in Denver, Colorado. Now has 8 restaurants across the Front Range. More are opening soon. Get over to Bird Call and get your hands on a Bird in a Box. This week only, DNVR fans can score 25% off any $15 order at Bird Call with promo code DNVR. Get down to Bird Call or order online at eatbirdcall.com and grab this offer now through the end of December. So maybe not just this week, but through the end of December.
Shout out to our friends over at Westera Credit Union. They were founded here in 1934. They have 9 locations in the Denver metro area. They are all about helping members financially prosper, and they were started by a group of school teachers, so they're all about education. And this holiday season, from November 13th through the 31st of December, they want to give your wallet a gift. New members who open a Smart Money checking or a Money Market Select account will receive $100 on January 2nd. All you need to do is join. Open one of those new accounts, enroll in digital banking, and you're on your way to getting $100. Ka-ching. I mean, $100 to start the new year. You can't beat it. It's literally right after New Year's. Still some more shopping, still some more sales to do. Extra $100. I'll take it. You can visit westeracu.com/become-a-member to learn more. Membership eligibility required, insured by the NCUA. Restrictions and conditions apply.
Some news just coming in.
Wow.
AFC Defensive Player of the Month for November. Pat Surtain.
Yes. Let's go.
You know, we were talking a little bit about Nick.
Really?
Oh, here we go. You, if you like the 50-1 odds on Nick Bonito to win Defensive Player of the Year, you'd probably love Pat
Dre
Surtain.
wasn't here.
Third, yeah.
He tried to bring up an argument that Nick Bonito was better than Pat Surtain.
I did not say that. I said, what if he was?
You said you were making an argument that they were very, very close with.
I was just saying, like, if he does go and get 15 sacks a
I don't
season,
know. I think you're changing the story now. But I'll let you live. It's Thursday.
Thank you for letting me live.
It's a good day.
We're all football watchers, right?
Yes. Some of us players. Yeah.
Some of us players.
And coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's all I'll say.
I want to coach a kid's football team. Can you have a son? We'll talk after.
Yeah, we'll talk after. So, my daughter would like that. There are instances this season where I felt like, Vance, just rush 4. No need for these fancy zone blitzes. We're going to get home by just rushing 4. And the Broncos are leading the league in sacks with a lot of like...
It's not even close. Pretty crazy.
Right. Pat, it's more just scheme them up, let them take half the field away, and it's done.
Yep.
When Benito's just creating rush on a 4-man rush because guys just can't block them one-on-one, and it's less where's the pressure coming from and more schematics, then I think we can get into that combo.
I think we're far away from that combo.
Yeah?
I think we're years away from that combo.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I talked to Hank and I was saying, like, when you talk about Nick Bonito, you're comparing him to the pass rushers that are doing well this season. When you talk about Pat Surtain, you have to compare him to the greatest corners of all time and what he's doing. When you talk about him, you got to talk about Champ Bailey and Darrelle Reeves. You can't just talk about guys playing right now. I mean, outside of Sauce, who's having a terrible year, he was the only guy that you can kind of compare Pat to, and he was the second best in the league.
Yeah, that's true.
Pat is closer to Champ than he is to Sauce.
Okay, I'm good. We can move on.
Okay, we can move on.
Yeah. I mean, transcendent talent. That's a pretty strong argument for sure.
And just what he does against every number one receiver he plays, like, it's hard to find a corner that can do that.
Yeah.
And he's that good.
Yeah. No, I was thinking a lot about Pat recently. Mostly because of that conversation, but
I love that you guys you're making the argument by uplifting. There's no negative campaigning. Because we would never do that.
No.
We would never do that. But
no.
You guys,
Pat Surtain,
the brilliant analyst you are. I love that.
We are brilliant, aren't we? We're about to use that brilliance on a fun game. We're going to start by giving a shout out to Yaya for making all these graphics for us.
And
also we're going to diss him here in a second. But
hell yeah.
Basically, these are a bunch of potential free agents, and I kind of put them in different groups. And the way we're going to play this game is we assume the Broncos just run it back. They've got Garett Bolles, they've got DJ Jones, they've got Javonte, they've got both those backup quarterbacks. And we get to pick from each group which of these free agents we would most like to add this offseason. And we're starting with some of the big names here. Yes, the elite additions. So Zach Brown is supposed to be Zach Bond. That's what we're dissing.
Hell yeah.
He's a breakout linebacker for the Eagles.
Yep.
Some crazy plays. Already 108 tackles, 4 forced fumbles, 6 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks, an interception. Philly's newspaper this week called him their defensive Saquon Barkley. Guy's a monster. All these ages I sent you guys, this is start of next season just for what it's worth. And so he's going to be 27 at the start of next year. After that, you've got Budda Baker, 3-time All-Pro, 2019 tackles leader. You've got Tee Higgins. We've talked about him a lot. I think that Budda Baker is by far the best player on this list.
By far.
But also he plays a position where you don't really have a need. And that's where it gets interesting.
Todd, why are those nickel defenders not valued a ton sometimes? They're asked to do so much.
Yeah.
And yet we kind of take it for granted.
I don't know, man. I just feel like every position has its time. And for like nickels and linebackers, these are just not the years where you're valued.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go back 20 years, every defense was based on, okay, who's their middle linebacker?
Right, 100%.
And so I think the nickels are, even when Chris Harris played, he felt undervalued.
He did.
He wanted to get paid what outside corners were playing. Or getting paid. He didn't necessarily get that because he played nickel, but he was going against Tyreek Hill and the best nigga and Antonio Brown, going against the best wide receivers. Yeah. And it's harder to do on the interior, but it's just a lot of hate, man. I think we got a lot of haters out there.
Yeah.
Because I think those two positions are positions that people feel like you can just plug and play anybody. But that's not the case. And you definitely understand when you have a good one, you know how vital they are.
Yeah. And you're asked
Jake
to do
so
game. Much every down.
Yep.
And that's the interesting thing about Budda is where would you play him? Because in some ways, I think he's more of a Jaquan upgrade. But I would rather him be in that PJ Locke spot. I think that's where he would really upgrade the defense. And
we talked about this a little bit, and this is more big picture in your question, but this is why I like the idea of building through the draft, because it'd be nice to have an upgrade at safety, even though those guys are playing really well. Like, you still just feel like...
Which spot?
I mean...
The BJ spot?
It's pretty close. Like, you'd let him compete. I don't see much of a difference. Brandon Jones has played well. He's also been hurt, which is maybe why you could justify adding a safety. But you don't want to tell either of those guys that you're just signing somebody to play in front of them, because they're playing well enough to have that job by far. Like, they're playing really well back there. And so
they're going to cost more. So you're just adding more money to your books when you don't necessarily need it.
Totally.
And the way that I feel like our defense is set up, or every defense has positions that you have to pay and positions where you can pay somebody 3 to 4 or 5, 6, 7, and it's going to work out.
Exactly.
Corners need to be paid, and our outside and our rushers need to. Linebackers, safeties in this defense, they don't have to be $10, $15 million guys. They just need to be guys that are good enough at doing their job, and everybody else can hunt and eat. I think it's been like that, for a little while with this defense.
I also think, you're probably prioritizing offense. You're definitely prioritizing offense this offseason because the defense is playing so well. But if you were trying to upgrade your defense, you add somebody like Budda who you can move around. That might be the way to do it, at least on the back end, just because you can kind of pick your matchup. Each week it might be a different job because you're so settled and so stable everywhere else. You have a good plan. And if there's an injury, he can fill in for Jaquan, he can fill in for Brandon Jones, he can fill in for PJ. But also, you play Travis Kelce. There's your Travis Kelce. You might have to draw something up for it. It would take some creativity from Vance, but like you see what the Ravens have done with Kyle Hamilton in the past. Like there could be something similar to that there, because he's that good of a player, I think.
What do you project Bon and Buddha would cost average annual salary?
Buddha, you'd have to think top of the safety market, which I'd imagine is right around 20 a year. It's weird because the safety market's kind of going down right now. And so how far down? Like if you could get him for cheap, then you do it. Odds are you can't. Bon is the tough one, because Bon is playing like he's going to be an all-pro linebacker. He also is on a 1-year minimum deal because he wasn't all that good previously, but they're kind of finding the right way to use him. So I don't know whether, to me, he's obviously the best linebacker on the market. We'll talk about some other names, but he could be like $14 million a year.
Yeah.
And I would kind of surprise me, but if he's cheap because he's only done it once, that'd be intriguing.
Yeah, I mean, I think Todd's spot on with building this defense. Those are the positions where you try to save a little money.
Yeah.
And you see how well Sternad and Barton and Singleton have played in those roles. I think you feel good about what you can plug and play there. And
with Tee Higgins as the other option here, that's probably where you go, just because it is a position of need. Some interesting stuff. Only 2,000-yard seasons, 21 and 22. Never has gotten to 1,100. Career 65 yards per game. For perspective, Court's at 54 per game. DT as a Bronco is 72. Emmanuel Sanders was 68. So you kind of see where he fits in. This year, he's jumped from 65 per game to 79.7. So he's having like his best year, which means you are paying him probably more than Budda Baker and Zach Bond combined. And maybe that's the better question is, would you rather have Tee Higgins or both Zach Bond and Budda Baker? Quite the conundrum. It is. The question is, how much does T as your one upgrade? All of a sudden, Court could be an elite 2. And how confident are you that T is the one in that situation? That's the thing. Because I'm not. It gets tricky when you pay a 2-1 money. Mm-hmm.
Yes, but then you have to give him the football. He has to produce.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he would upgrade the offense without a doubt. It just would be like a little bit of a different dynamic. And we have so many young guys that we have faith in now.
Exactly.
I mean, Vele is almost 30. He doesn't have much longer to play. No, I'm just playing. But we have a lot of young guys that need the football and we want to see develop. I think I really feel like Sean feels like Vele was like a steal in this draft.
Yeah.
So to bring somebody in and have him get less touches, that's tough.
I know.
Yeah.
So it's a weird dynamic.
It is. Let's hit this next one. The discount wideouts here. I've got a couple different pairings of receivers coming up because that does kind of feel like it's been one of the big needs this season. Chris Godwin, who dislocated his ankle in October, ended his season. He's missed at least 2 games in 5 of the past 6 seasons. He went to a Pro Bowl, 3,000-yard seasons, career high 1,300. Stephon Diggs, who has 6,000-yard seasons, led the NFL with 127 catches in 2020, 1,500 yards in 2020, played 8 games before he got hurt this year. It's the first time he's missed more than 1 game in a season since 2017. Which guy would you rather the Broncos sign? And say money's even. Godwin, 2 years younger, for what it's worth. 29 and 31 at the start of next year.
I like Godwin a lot, but again, I worry he's really benefited from having an elite number 1 next to him in a Mike Evans. Mm-hmm. If you're now paying him and asking him to be that elite number 1, is he going to perform at that level? How much is he really upgrading that unit? And then there's what Todd just brought up with Tee Higgins of taking touches away from the young guys you feel good about. Diggs, I wouldn't mess with.
I agree.
I think the last 2 years have really shown you might be better off without that guy than with him.
I kind of agree. That's where I'm at. I go Godwin.
Yeah, and I think, the whole play of bringing him in to win a Super Bowl, they just tried that with a very good quarterback, and it didn't work out too well.
No, it didn't.
And they parted ways, and it felt a little weird. I don't know exactly what happened, but, I wish him best of luck in Houston, but I don't think he needs to come this way to Denver.
Yep. Let's hit the next one. These are a couple of older superstar receivers. First, we've got Amari Cooper And we've also got DeAndre Hopkins. So Hopkins going to be 33 at the start of next year. Cooper going to be 31, so you save a couple years there. Cooper, 1,200 yards last year, but 386 in 10 games this year. Last year, 1,000 yards for Hopkins. This year, down a little bit for Hopkins, but still more than Cooper's doing. I'm curious which way you guys go with these guys.
Man.
I like Amari Cooper. I feel like he's been underrated for his ability to run good routes and get open. And I feel like he, at this age, will be more like of a teaching assistant coach.
Yeah.
And I feel like he would be good for the young guys to have around. And just with his transitioning, I don't think he's going to demand to be number one, give me the ball, I got to be the guy. Mm-hmm. I think that allows for everybody to eat with him still being like a big piece of it.
Yep. Yeah, I like this tier. It's both kind of valuable veteran assets that you don't need to commit long term to, you know.
And if it doesn't work out, they were probably cheap and you still got the young guys.
Yeah. I'd probably lean Hopkins.
Okay. I think I lean Cooper, but this is a duo where the next month or so could change things. Like if Hopkins really does find his footing with the Chiefs, that's going to swing me back the other way. Just like the catch radius and all that is insane. Let's hit the next one. And these are guys who I think may be more likely to be Broncos. I picked out 3 slot receivers who are going to be available. Tyler Boyd going to be 30. Keenan Allen going to be 33. Deontay Johnson going to be 29. Very different stages of their career. Tyler Boyd, down year. He's on pace for 440 yards this year. Past 4 years, though, when he was with the Bengals instead of the Titans, it was 775 a year. Before that, had a couple 1,000-yard seasons back in the day. Keenan Allen, an old man at this point, but it doesn't seem to matter. At least it didn't last year when he had 1,200 yards, 95 yards a game. This year down a little bit, 44 yards a game. And then Deontay Johnson, who is currently suspended by the Ravens for refusing to enter the game last week against the Eagles. Career 53 yards per game, but in 4 games with the Ravens, he has 1 catch for 6 yards.
Keenan Allen, I feel like, he's been good for a long time. I think he's still very talented. He still has some of the best feet work in football. But last year when he had 1,200 yards, he was getting like 25 targets a game. He was their only wide receiver, and he is getting old, so probably not Keenan Allen. Boyd would probably be
he's an interesting buy low candidate.
Safe. He's safe.
Yeah, and Deontay, absolutely not. He feels too similar to Marvin Mims.
Okay.
And even then, he overlaps with Franklin too much. I wouldn't bother.
All right. We got our last group of receivers here, the speed guys, before we get into the other positions. Marquise Brown.
Hollywood.
Reportedly returning soon from a shoulder injury from the first preseason game on a 1-year, $7 million with the Chiefs. Missed 8 games the past 2 years. 56 yards a game in that time. Year before, he had a 1,000-yard season. Rondale Moore hasn't quite found his footing because of injuries, had a season-ending knee injury in training camp. Only 25, though, obvious talent. And then Darius Slayton, who's kind of the steady guy in the group. Career best, 770 yards in 2023. Playing about to a season average this year, 43 yards a game.
I like me some Rondale. He's a yak beast.
He is.
If healthy.
Redundant with Marvin?
Yep, I worry about that. I worry about that.
I feel like this is kind of where we could use somebody like Shifty kind of over the middle. I think what Marvin does is like more deep threats and uses his speed that way. I don't think we have just like a get open now type receiver. So I think that's the one thing we could use in the receiver room next year outside of a tight end, but I guess that's the tight end room.
All right.
Different.
Yeah.
Let's
kind of double up with your options on the seam, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Before we get into the non-receiver positions, want to give you a shout out to Bet365. Right. Bet365 is awesome. Another fun night tonight. I haven't looked at the lines, but I know that Avs are at 5. The Nuggets are also at 5. And then you've got Thursday Night Football, which should be an awesome game with the Packers and the Lions.
What a time to be alive.
So the tough part for me is I have Vikings NFC North future, and right now they're a game behind the Lions. And so I need the Packers to win for that. And so do I make the bet on the Packers money line and just take the value? You could even make it like kind of a small bet or even like a parlay with the first 2, see if you hit something big. Or do I hedge? Because that's the other option, is take the Lions, hedge there. And the answer, as always, is bet on what you think is going to happen and don't worry about your other bets.
Yes.
So Bet365 is awesome. It's also an official partner of the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Avalanche. Boosts every day. They're going to have, I'm sure, some awesome boosts tonight. They usually have a super boost for Thursday Night Football. They have 10,000 boosts a month.
Abs profit boost right now on the SGP. Oh, yeah.
That's going to be a fun one. I'm ready to sit on the couch and watch sports tonight. Hopefully make some money. New customers can get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5. You sign up, use the code DNVR365, deposit $10, place a bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
Nice.
And if you guys are looking for some good snacks, you got to check out our friends over at Circle K. If you guys love chips, gummies, cookies, whatever your snacks cravings may be, you got to check out Circle K. And you can download the Circle K app and you can sign up for the Inner Circle program. It's a free membership. It's easy to download. Just enter your email and phone number to be fully enrolled. After that, all you need is your phone number to get the deals. Deals every day on food, drinks, and more. And right now, if you sign up for the Inner Circle with the Circle K app, you can receive 25 cents off per gallon on your next 5 fill-ups. So you know gas is high, so 25 cents off, that's a big chunk of change off.
No
Get
doubt.
four gallons, that's $1 off. You know what I'm saying? Good man.
Wow. Wow.
You can sign up for the Inner Circle app. You can download the Circle K app and sign up for exclusive offers. New offers, purchase clubs, and sweepstakes are uploaded weekly.
All right.
Let's go.
Let's jump back in. I've got a couple tight ends here in this next group. Also threw in Khalil Mack just to see if I could tempt you.
Yeah, he doesn't play tight end, does he?
No, but the tight ends to me maybe just a little bit disappointing this year. See if I could convince you. Austin Hooper, he's going to be 30. Went to Pro Bowls 2018, 2019. On pace for 441 yards this year with the Patriots.
Hoop.
Remember, Hunter Henry is also there, so they're splitting time. So maybe a little bit more of an impressive 440 yards.
Oh, yeah. We're impressed.
Mike Gesicki, Patriots last year, 14 yards per game. This year with the Bengals, 36 yards per game because it's a real offense.
Wow. Stock up.
He'll be 29 at the end of this year.
Yeah.
And then Khalil Mack, you know Khalil Mack, had 17 sacks last year. On pace for only 7 sacks this year, hasn't missed a game in 3 years. Going to be 34.
Do you think we need anybody on the edge right now, though? We have 2 guys that we're paying, or 1 guy that we're paying, 1 guy that we're about to have to pay.
Yep.
We got a young rookie, and then also we got,
Jonah
kid with a broken...
Yeah.
When is it? Achilles? That's
Achilles,
hopefully coming back
yep.
soon. So we might be overloaded in the outside linebacker.
I think so too.
Tillman breaking out.
Tillman breaking out?
Load it up. Yeah, already traded Browning. You don't need to add another one. As far as those tight ends, I might take a gamble on Gesicki as more of a roll of the dice as your second tight end.
Yep. Probably a little bit more limited as a player, but he adds what you need added, which is receiving ability and speed. So I'm right there with you.
Yeah, a little size.
No, I like Hoop. I'll take Hoop.
Okay, I like it.
It's more of a
dude.
proven pro for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And he'll get done what you need to get done. And he just provides more pass catching ability than we have right now.
It's true. He is still very much an upgrade.
We need a tight end.
Got some running backs up next. These to me are the 3 best running backs on the market. You got Aaron Jones, JK Dobbins, Najee Harris. Not quite the 3-headed monster from last year when you had Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, and Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
But still some really good backs. Aaron Jones playing well. Maybe a little bit of a fumble issue, but on pace for an 1,100. Oh, no, already has 1,100 scrimmage yards in 12 games. Put up crazy numbers from 2019 to 2022. He'll be 30 at the start of next year, though. JK Dobbins, more of a gamble. As a rookie in 2020, 6 yards per carry, played 9 total games the next 3 years. This year, he's already at 766 yards. That's a 1,200-yard pace, 4.8 yards per carry with the Chargers. Najee Harris, he's 27, basically the exact same stats every year. Career 3.9 yards per carry, average 1,000-yard, a little over 1,000-yard per season pace, 1,400 scrimmage yards. Who's the top guy here?
I think I'm most interested in Najee Harris. I think I've seen those other guys in a lot of different schemes, but Najee is in a very downhill power scheme and then also defense. He plays a lot of stacked box.
He
teams.
Does, and has his
like
entire
downhill.
career.
You know what I'm saying? Run stopping teams. So you put him in a Sean Payton offense that's a little bit more spread out.
Yep.
Has a lot more versatility with packages and personnels. Like, can he then find the ability to get through one gap, make one guy miss instead of having to avoid 3 tacklers, and he's very successful? I don't know, but I feel like I would be interested in him the most and probably bring him in.
Yeah. I've always liked Najee's third down ability, especially as a wide receiver. I think at worst he could be like a souped up version of what you had in P. Ryan last year. But look, in retrospect, last year's running back class looks amazing now.
Yes.
But there were several of those guys who have popped, Saquon especially, and Josh Jacobs especially, are exactly the Najee Harris profile.
True.
They're guys who, we saw some promise in those rookie contracts, but never quite at the level of what we thought coming out. And you know how that is. Draft expectations always follow you.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you've underwhelmed unrealistic expectations coming in, everyone always thinks poorly of you. But then in their second stops, those guys are really popping,
Yep.
And so could Najee do the same with a real play caller in a better offense? Could be. Dobbins is really risky, and Aaron Jones has just like produced and been phenomenal everywhere he's been.
He's been incredible. I mean, again, 2019 to 2022, 1,400 scrimmage yards, more than that per season. Last Bronco with 14, what he had on average, Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel in 2014. And like he's just doing that year after year after year, and he's on pace to keep doing it again this year. But yeah, Najee, it was fun watching him against the Bengals. We talked about this yesterday, but they kept getting him one-on-one in space against safeties or even linebackers, and he's breaking those tackles. And part of that is just the Bengals' terrible defense, but part of it is that's what he does. And it's like Saquon, everybody called him boomer bust, like he's just not a consistent runner. It's like, well, no, the Giants' offensive line just didn't block 60% of the time. The other 40%, he's doing crazy stuff, and Najee might be the same way. We got a few more. We're going to get through these quickly. Just some playmakers here. 3 different positions. Top tight end on the board. We've got Tyler Conklin. I think is probably the best available. He'll be 30. Only missed 1 game in his career. Past 4 years, 32 receiving yards per game. For example, that's a 553 yard per season pace. For example, Noah Fant at 635. So it's not like it's crazy production in any way. Amari Cooper, who we talked about. JK Dobbins, who we talked about. This is more about needs than anything, but I'm curious who would help the Broncos the most next year.
I'd like Conklin. You in on Conklin, Todd?
Yeah, I play with Conklin in
oh, really? Oh, Minnesota, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
I forget that Todd played with everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was younger then. But I think he's coming to his own. I think he's become a reliable tight end. And I think that's what we need the most as a tight end. So
yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I can get behind that. This is the washed category. It's washed with a question mark, though.
Okay.
Tyrann Mathieu, he'll be 33. Bobby Wagner, he'll be 35. Nick Chubb, he'll be 29. I accidentally put Javon Holland in this one, and I meant to put him in the next one.
Yep.
So don't include him. If you could take a swing on any of these washed guys, who would you
Nick
take?
Chubb
a swing
is
on?
not washed. He's injured.
It's okay, injured. I like it.
Yeah,
so go
he's
Chubb.
still bouncing back. Yeah, he was dominant before his injury.
He was.
I mean, and he hasn't had a long time back. He just got back this season.
Yeah, he's played like 6 games.
Yeah, come on, man. He's
Okay.
definitely not washed.
Would-
and Bobby
would
Wagner
you
had
take
175 tackles last year.
And he's been
But that's
phenomenal
what's
for
question mark.
Washington.
He's also
been
going to be
phenomenal.
35. No, he's been incredible.
I probably wouldn't take Bobby, but I would definitely take Nick Chubb.
Okay, and Tyrann Mathieu not a consideration in that group.
Nah.
Oh,
We don't need a safety, and I feel
fair.
like our safeties right now are outplaying him at his age right
That's
now.
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bobby was an All-Pro last year. I mean, has been the past 10 years.
It's really
This
good.
is the one more question on that. Nick Chubb or Aaron Jones, Najee, that group. Does he belong in that tier still?
Yeah, I mean,
Even with the question marks?
How much time does he get to bounce back from injury?
I think eyes have PTSD.
He was better than every
from
single one of those
Javonte.
guys.
100%.
Yeah.
When he was
I mean, he
healthy.
was the best running back in the league.
Yes.
At
So
his
how much
peak,
time
for
does
sure.
he get? And he was the only player that was producing on the team, so you knew
Yeah.
he was getting the ball and he was still producing.
That's true.
I think he needs like a year. I think he gets
Okay.
a year, right, of playing
Okay.
before we can just say he's washed or not.
This next group, the We Can Fix Him group, Isaiah Simmons, who is a freak coming out, hasn't really found a role, got benched this year. Chase Young, again, freak coming out.
Yeah.
Then injuries have been part of it, but 7 sacks, sack and a half, 0 sacks, 7.5, 3.5 sacks. And then Mecole Hardman, who maybe didn't have quite as much hype coming out, but still second round pick. It's been a couple years since he did much, but position in need. You get to add one to the team. Who do you choose?
None.
No, there's no passing.
I'm sick of these first rounders getting chance after chance, man. They've shown you what they can do.
That's fair.
You know?
Simmons has a depth piece, probably. Though Chase Young's probably the correct answer.
Yeah. I like the idea of Simmons getting back with Vance. I don't love it. I'm not going out of my way to do it, but if these are the options, I could get behind it. Okay, last one here. Call this the rich get richer category. Mostly, Talanoa to me is one of the best safeties in the NFL. Mm-hmm. He was a first-team All-Pro before he tore his ACL last year. I should be back soon. Only going to be 25, so he's a freak. DJ Reed, you don't need a cornerback, but having a good season. PFF's grades have him as like the 8th for whatever that's worth. Oh, wow. Also drawing easier assignments across some sauce. Zach Martin, the guard with the Cowboys,
correct.
will be a Hall of Famer. He'll also be 34.
Man, they were showing him on the sideline. He just looked like a dude in my neighborhood, you know?
A dude who's been to 3 straight Pro Bowls.
linemen in just casual gear, you'd never tell they're football players.
No, they're just big.
No.
just a big bearded guy with a hoodie. Yeah.
No needs for any of those guys. Who would you take?
The safety. What's his name?
Yeah, me too. Ufanga,
yeah.
He's a beast.
I mean, look, your third corner could be better than what you have currently, so DJ Reed, but I think that cost you a pretty penny.
Absolutely.
Like outside corners, who are top 10 in the league 100%. In coverage, that's like $15 million a year easy, right?
So. Definitely. All right, before we get into Dre's going to pitch us on some first-round draft prospects.
We got time?
Oh, yeah, we got time. We got like 10 minutes.
Hell yeah.
I want to give a shout-out to Constant Contact. You know us. We're online.
Yeah.
And so we know a lot about what being online is like. And that's why we can sign off on Constant Contact. We know that Constant Contact knows their stuff. And if you're looking for a social media plan, these guys got you. Are you tracking the people who have given you business earlier? Have you been... it's actually, we're already in Q4, which to the business people is a big deal. It's crunch
December
time.
Is Q4.
Yes, crunch time.
Shocker.
Yeah. No, I mean, big news. I like hearing this stuff. It's good updates.
It's really good. Yeah.
Again, you've got goals to the end of the year. They'll help you get to those. It's crunch time here. But they have all sorts of different stuff. They can help you with social media. They'll help you post to all the different platforms. There's smartphone text marketing.
Right.
As you may have heard, 2 billion people are on social media. It's a great place to really be taking advantage. Again, digital marketing is important for businesses, and it's time to put the go in your 2024 business goals with email, social, SMS, and customized marketing campaigns built for you in just a few clicks. Ready, set, go to constantcontact.com/allcity. It's all one word, all city, and start your free trial today. Go to constantcontact.com/allcity for your free trial.
Nice.
And shout out to our friends over at Primo Hoagies. You guys know we love our Primo Hoagies here. And if you guys have been to the tailgate,
yes,
Primo Hoagies provides food. So shout out to them. It's been amazing. And Primo Hoagies won USA's Today's Best Sandwich Shop back-to-back in 2023 and 2024.
Wow.
Come taste what makes them the best right here in Centennial, Colorado. If you guys love hoagies, if you want to stop in and get yourself some, but also if you guys are having an event and you want something coordinated or catered for a business lunch, let Primo Hoagies take care of the catering with their delicious hoagie trays that everyone will love. Our prices are flexible and can fit any catering budget. Primo Hoagies is everywhere you need us to be. Order through any third-party platform or get delivery straight from their own app. You can get ready for a mouth-watering deal at Primo Hoagies right now. Grab their special combo, 1 Primo-sized hoagie, a 1-ounce bag of chips, and a 20-ounce drink, all for $15.99. I mean, it's a steal. Don't miss out. Swing by Primo Hoagies Centennial today and treat yourself to the perfect lunch meal.
All right. Let's. What do you have for us, Dre? Oh, presented by Bet365. This entire show. Also, we're in the Toyota Lounge.
Of course.
Also,
of course.
Become a diehard.
Damn straight.
Come to the bar.
Great job, Henry. Yeah.
Come to the tailgate.
Right. What about our merch?
Buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
November 1st, would you like for me to throw up no, October 1st? Do you want me to throw up a 4?
Up? Yeah.
So you know we're entering the fourth quarter of the
Q4
of the financial calendar.
That's good.
Yes.
I can do that.
We're not only in the fourth quarter. I think this is the 2-minute warning.
It really is.
Yeah,
No, we're deep in the
We've
fourth
used
quarter.
up our timeouts.
Yeah.
All we've got is the 2-minute warning. We gotta make
The
this
clock is
count.
ticking.
Yeah,
The clock
hurry
is
up
ticking.
offense time.
Kicker better be warming up.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I've got some draft pitches for you.
Yes.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah, you're gonna sell us on some draft prospects here.
How about a receiving tight end?
Yeah, there's a need.
We've got 3 fun ones. Here's the pitch. Tyler Warren, Penn State. He's Taysom Hill. If Taysom Hill was 6'6", 257 and led the NFC South in receiving yards. Because he's basically leading the Big Ten in receiving. Harold Fannin Jr., he's like if Deebo Samuels weighed 230 pounds, was like Kyle Juszczyk's size, but you could move him around as like a move tight end
Okay.
and
6'4".
kind of a yak guy to feed the ball. Or Colston Loveland, a more prototypical 6'5" slot tight end, receiving tight end out of Michigan. All 3 should go in the top 50 picks.
The guy from Penn State, I seen him for the first time last week. I'm like,
He's a beast.
There's no way this guy is the guy that's killing everybody.
Yeah.
And now watching
know,
highlights,
right?
I'm like, what the heck?
I know.
No, he's a beast. He's a dog. I would have never, like if I seen him on the street, walking
Yep.
down the street, that guy's not a beast.
Oh,
No.
But he definitely
got
is a
the
beast.
long hair poking out the helmet, too.
Yeah.
He's just a
Number
vibe.
And I think the
44.
Penn State jerseys don't help. Like,
No.
Yeah, it's
it
not
doesn't
they
make
don't.
you feel like,
Yeah.
They don't.
yeah.
Thomas like Shaq. Sorry, I wasn't familiar with your game, big boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's playing.
Those,
No, he to me is the best bet to be like a George Kittle, like even Travis Kittle, like elite tight end. I think the other guys maybe have some.
he screams George Kittle, for sure.
Exactly.
'Cause he
That's
can block, he can catch, he can. Yeah.
he's my dream draft pick for the Broncos right now. It used to be Travis Hunter, and then it was Ashton Jeanty, and then the Broncos kept winning, and so now we're on to Tyler Warren.
We mocked him to the Broncos in our Monday draft
Love
pod,
it.
and the Athletics' latest mock also had him to the Broncos at 22. His competitiveness and everything
know.
he does, running guys over when he's the
Big
ball
tight end
carrier,
vibes.
going to like get the ball on contested catches, blocking on the move is what really stands out. So
Also,
you love him.
Harold Fannin, the Bowling Green tight end,
He's awesome.
maybe like upgraded Jonnu Smith, like that kind of movable, but like.
rich man's Jonnu, yeah.
And so you hear, because he's still leading the entire country in receiving, right?
Thick Evan Ingram would be another comp I could
Love
give
that.
you. Yeah.
100 catches,
Pause.
1,300 yards, 9 touchdowns. That's, I mean, leading the country in receiving as a tight end. And so you'd think, like, oh, you're doing Bowling
Yeah, it's
Green. That's
crazy.
nothing. Put up 137 on Penn State. Put up 145 on Texas A&M. And he's the only, it's Bowling Green. Like, that's who you game plan for. So I don't want to undersell him. And then Colston Loveland, like, as a freshman, he was very clearly a freak. Like, maybe a little bit lean, but tall, and you never know if those, because he's only like 21 or whatever. So maybe he fills out a bit. But to me, it's Fannin 2 and then Loveland 3.
Yeah, no doubt. How about a 3-down running back? North Carolina's got a Marion Hampton. He reminds me a lot of Joe Mixon coming out without the
Okay.
off-field drama
Yes.
from that followed him from Oklahoma.
But sometimes the off-field drama, like, that's what makes a good player.
Players
Players that have a little drama coming out of.
I do like the
Fair enough.
Jameis
I don't know
Winston.
everything that happened with Mixon, but a lot of
Yeah.
good players had a lot of off-field
Yeah.
drama.
Damn straight. Damn
Yeah.
straight. You know,
Allen
you're,
Iverson, I mean,
you're not
Allen,
trying
yes.
to. You're not trying to build a choir here. You
No,
know?
That
it is a
true.
football team.
That is
yes.
true.
So
I wonder
Hampton,
if can he sing though?
That's a great question. He might. He might.
might.
Could be a very talented young man. He is a 3-down running back. So he's got a nice mix of physicality, explosiveness, ability to cut in the open field, and some breakaway speed. And he's got some receiving ability. Quinshawn Judkins, more of a second-round running back. Ole Miss, Ohio State. Gives me Alvin Kamara vibes and how he cuts
hearing
and
that.
is kind of able to both be a factor in as isolated outside and then be a good runner up the middle. And Devin Neal, who absolutely lit up Colorado, Kansas's running back. He's got some really sharp cuts, veteran 3-down running back as well. Might even get him in the 3rd round. So those are my
three that I'd pitch you as 3 down running backs. One's a first-round candidate, second-round candidate, third-round candidate.
I like all 3. I'll start with that. I wish that there was like a Jahmyr Gibbs. You know, all these guys maybe just a little bit bigger, maybe a little bit more like run guys over. Still shifty, like they're good prospects, but there isn't somebody who I think is a perfect Sean Payton.
Jahmyr Gibbs is tough. If I gave you a Devon A-Chain, would you
We've been
take
watching
that?
him for a while. I mean, he's a yeah, I like that.
I mean, he's a speedster, but they can't all be generational
Totally.
speedsters like Gibbs.
Totally.
Because SMU's got this kid, Brashard Smith.
Okay.
Miami boy used to be a wide receiver at the U, now running back at SMU, and he's amazing. The draft Knicks haven't caught up to him yet, but Brashard Smith is really awesome. I would love him in Denver.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not gonna, Ashton Jeanty's like he's a freak, but the rest of the running back class, I know everybody loves it. I'm maybe just from a Broncos perspective, just down on it a tiny bit.
You're a smidge more skeptical.
A smidge. None of those guys are just.
What kind of running back do you need?
I want
do
a
you need
first-round guy.
the big
I know.
bruiser? Do you need an Estime upgrade? Do you need
That's
a,
the tough.
We need
a
the guy that can do it
McLaughlin
all.
update?
We need
Yeah.
because I feel like we have running backs that are undrafted. We have late round
Yes.
draft picks. Like we need, you know,
You need the
Saquon
bell
Barkley.
cow.
You need
Yeah.
somebody who's going to take like
But with some speed.
15 touches again. It's Schmeed. Like
Really?
That's
Okay.
right.
You know, we need
Okay.
somebody
Yes.
that's definitely going to pound the rock. We have like speed backs, and then Sean's been creative. You put Marvin Mims down there. You put Jalil back there. Like you just need somebody who's going to run that rock.
Okay.
A 5 yard per carry guy.
Yeah.
Forget the speed. Yes.
Get off me, little boy.
That's right. That's right. Do you have time for one more?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Number 1 wide receiver or slot wide receiver? Tatoria McMillan, Arizona. It's like 6'5", 210.
He's a beast.
He's a beast.
Yeah.
They're going to have no shot at him. Emeka Egbuka, Ohio State wide receiver, a little inside-outside versatility, good combo of speed, size, good hands. Might not be elite at anything, really good at a lot. Or 2 slot options. And Egbuka, again, kind of can do it all.
Would have thought he'd be drafted much higher before this year, right? Or is he kind of picked back up?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you know, I mean, it's tough going from C.J. Stroud to Will
True.
Howard.
True.
And then they always have 3 elite wide receivers, so you're always competing for touches against other first rounders.
Yeah.
Ted Johnson, Bo's favorite wideout at Oregon,
Yep.
little shifty jitterbug, or Xavier Restrepo, a guy who at Miami has blown up. True slot wide receiver, Lad McConkey vibes, let's say.
That was going to be my question: is if you'd make that comparison. I might be Restrepo for me. Tedro McMillan's a freak.
Yeah.
Like he's a beast. He's a big
the
guy.
answer,
like he
but
is. He
it's
is
kind of like
probably the
besides
answer.
the point. Yeah,
But yeah, Restrepo's fun.
he's fun. He's fun. It's with those slots, you never know. Are they gonna be the Sweeney kid from UNC who's now coaching already and
Yep.
he's like 25, or is he gonna be Lad McConkey?
Yep.
Whatever happened to Hunter Renfrow?
I don't know. He kind of fell off a cliff.
He did.
Yeah.
I think slots and tight ends are the hardest positions to play when you're talented because you need a coach to utilize you
Yeah.
in a way that makes you successful. Like I think you've seen a lot of good tight ends go places. Even Kyle Pitts, he's not being utilized the right way, so he doesn't look as nice as he could. So I think he just got caught in a situation that
Renfro released in March, hasn't signed anywhere. He's out there.
happens quick.
Crazy.
I mean, honestly, it's the same convo we had 3 segments ago about nickelbacks and off-ball linebackers being undervalued.
Yep.
You're asked to do so much, but then it's kind of like, oh, yeah, I can find anyone to do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wouldn't mind bringing Renfro in this offseason. If you don't sign like another receiver, let him compete.
Yeah, I don't
Like he
know.
doesn't have a job.
I don't know.
I mean, you have no. He signed a minimum deal. You have no worries if he doesn't make it. I mean,
Let him compete.
it is what it is.
See what happens. All right, we got some super chats before we get out of here. First one coming in from Drake R. Not. Oof, I had to make sure it's not the other Drake. What would Benito have to do to be comparable to PS2, locking down half the field and everyone's wide receiver one? I think what we decide, like if he goes 17 sacks a year consistently, That's probably right there.
Yeah, just consistently. Like
But it has to do it over and over.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has to be like expectation. That's who you are, not like that's your best.
Yeah. He has to be
3 years in a row.
Yeah, he has to be taught. You have to. Yeah. He has to be better than TJ Watt. He's been better than Myles Garrett. He has to be better than Daniil Hunter. He has to be better than all those guys.
Yep. It's going to be tough.
Those of you watching on a smart TV, our stream will end in 10 seconds. Catch us on our website, ddnvr.com, where we're going to continue this conversation.
Yes.
That's why Drake kept asking, you have time?
That's
and you're
smart.
like, no, I have time.
Yeah, exactly. I have time.
You're like, yeah,
Evan,
I have time.
Well, now we don't have time. Evan Heister, after the bye, we got to commit to the smash and dash with Julian Estimate, like D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart. Javonte is just too inconsistent. You're getting to that point. I mean, what? Last 4 games, he has the one good one against the Falcons. The 3 others, he has like 13 carries for 1 yard. Maybe even negative 1 yard.
Bad.
It's gotten kind of
He
bad.
had a touchdown, though.
He did have a touchdown. So, you have another month for the playoffs.
Yeah.
You got to turn it on, though.
Yeah, if you gave me truth serum, I agree completely. That's the duo I would commit to.
Probably. Mile High Sing, could Denver get George Kittle if San Francisco decides to reset? Kittle free agent next year. So if you don't address tight end this year, that would be your
I'm
chance.
not going another year like this. I'm not doing it.
Something needs to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, could they trade him in the offseason if they're kind of doing a little refresh? If you trade a first-round pick for George Kittle, I couldn't complain about it. Like that's just an offense changer.
Trade what for George Kittle?
If you trade a first-round pick for him, I couldn't complain.
First-round pick?
I know it'd be an
Second.
overpay,
Maybe
but
a
like,
second.
oh
it's-
my gosh.
if you
How
did-
old is he?
he's not too old, is he?
Probably 31.
Boy,
Do we
oh
consider
boy.
that old?
No.
He is 31. Just turned 31 a couple months ago. All right, that'll do it for today.
I think the theme of this pod was, you know what?
Broncos are good.
Just sign your guys, build through the draft. Yeah, Conklin and a couple other names we threw out. Maybe one of those intriguing running backs, but this team doesn't need a ton.
No.
Be weary of big money that's just going to clog up opportunities for the young guys you've got coming up.
Absolutely.
Exciting time to be a Broncos fan.
Shout out to Dre for joining us.
Thanks,
Shout out to Super Bowl 50 champion Todd Davis. Shout out to me. Shout out to Yahir for making all those graphics. And 10 of the 11 were pretty good.
Yeah.
So
I would say 11 of them.
okay, Zach Brown. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the last show of the week.
We all silly like the mayor.